Hello guys, welcome back to ESENtaxa, and this is the first video of 2025 here, Andrea Papito. And here in ESENtaxa, if it happens to be the first time on this channel, we talk about how to optimize taxes in Europe. We help people to understand how the tax burden can be squeezed down, can be optimized if they are looking for a specific jurisdiction to move in. And in this specific video, I'm going to talk about Italy, and in particular the taxation on real estate in Italy in 2025, and I'm going to explain you all the configurations, possible configuration that you might exploit if you want to invest in Italy under the scheme, under the business of the real estate. Either you want to run a real estate business simply putting your property under ordinary rent, either you want to put your property under the touristic rents. Okay? Now, before moving forward, I just want to remind you that in the description below the video you have our email contact info@esentaxa.com and also our calendar link if you wish to have a consultation with us to understand your specific situation, your case, because these are information of general nature in this video and you could just have ideas if these situations, these specific topics might fit your specific desire, your specific target if you want to move in Italy for this specific case, okay? I'm going to make this analysis also in the future videos in other European jurisdictions, okay? So let's move first with Italy because it's one of our jurisdictions we are talking a lot on this channel, and in 2025 we're going to see how to keep your taxation down to 10% in all your real estate Italian investments, okay? And we're going to also discuss if it makes sense to invest as an individual rather than a company in order to keep this low taxation, okay? First of all, we have to understand that in Italy there are two ways to run your business under the real estate context, okay? You want to run it, as I was saying before, as an ordinary individual that won't simply put under rent your properties, and you want to use ordinary contracts, long-term contracts, toward families, toward students, toward workers. So you're purchasing a property and you want to put it under rent in ordinary cases, the simplest case scenario. So how much taxes do you pay in that case? So if this is a property, an investment property, you actually on annual basis, today I'm not going to talk about taxes on purchased because it would be matter of another video, but I'm talking about recurrent taxes that you have to pay on yearly basis on your income, okay? So basically you have to pay two taxes. One, let me first put that here we're talking about 2025. This is the investment property in Italy, okay? And you have to mind about two specific taxes. One is called IMU and one is called the rental tax on rental income, okay? Now, IMU is the annual property tax. Simply because you own the property, you have to pay an annual property tax to the Italian state. And this amount of tax is calculated based on the cadastral value of your property, okay? So it's based on the cadastral value, and the cadastral value has been assigned to that property from the commune, from the municipality of your choice. So whenever you're looking for a property to purchase, make sure to check the cadastral value, because sometimes it's not worth to purchase a property rather than the other one because probably the cadastral value is too high, and because of that you're going to pay a lot of taxes just for owning the property. So before checking, you don't have to just check the value of the house on market value, the features of this house, if it's a old house, if brand new, but also a lot of people underestimate the cadastral value because it determines really a lot the IMU, which could be 1,000 euros per year to pay. You can spare a lot of money if you pick up the correct property with by chance got the lower cadastral value. Okay, so this is the first element, the first feature that somebody has to check when wants to improve your return on investment when you purchase a property in Italy. And then we have the rental income. Okay, the rental income, it's obvious. You receive an income at your personal level or on your company level, and you pay taxes on it. How much taxes you pay in 2025 on your rental income? Well, there are two possibilities. You have a 21% flat taxation on your gross rental income. There are no possibility to deduct any expenses because this is a flat taxation of 21%. or it's an option, you can choose every year, you can opt from one to another, the RPF taxation system, which is basically the taxation in tax bracket system. We already talked in previous video how much is the RPF in 2025 in Italy, and we know that it starts from 23% up to 43% based on the brackets. But here you can deduct the strictly related expenses to the property, okay? So these are the two options, 21% or the taxation brackets. Of course, which one makes more sense? Here it allows also deduction and deduction after tax. Here it's very important that you evaluate the calculations, because if you want to refurbish your property, the amount of tax that you pay through the RPF will be deducted against the 50% of the refurbished cost of your property. So here you can play with that. And even if this one looks nice because it starts with a lower tax bracket by default, but you might end up paying less with the RPF if you're talking about to refurbish a property that you have just purchased, okay? It's an investment property that you also have refurbished. You have, for example, you want to improve your energetic classes of your home, and then you can receive back 50% of the cost. Then with the RPF taxation, you can deduct these costs. So this is the first things that has to be taken into account. I'm using the RPF to deduct my cost, or I use the flat taxation. And the flat taxation sometimes is more convenient when I have a lot of other incomes already, and then of course I need a flat taxation to don't accumulate both incomes. So these are the two strategies to improve your taxation or rental income when you have Italian property. But this is just the basics. Here in ESENtaxa, we are going to tell you now in this video which are the idea to reduce these taxes, and also to run your activity also as a business, and see that most likely if you run this activity for renting your home, probably towards tourists, you pay even less taxes than the ordinary taxation. I'm going to explain you now how. First of all, let's keep staying on the rental income first, just to continuing this situation. So the rental income, I'm referring to an ordinary rental income, an ordinary type of rent towards ordinary people. And a lot of people are not aware of that. Still in 2025, this 21% flat taxation can be squeezed down to 10%. Okay? There is a flat taxation of only 10% on your rental income in Italy if you fulfill certain requirements. Which are those requirements? We can explain you in the consultation. In the description below the video you have a link to the Calendly. You can have a call and we can explain exactly which are the criteria and which is the correct setup, which is the best place to looking for your properties in order to exploit this 10%, because this 10% is not possible to apply to all the communes in Italy, but only in the certain municipalities that has a high demand of population, high demand of request, because it's a high density municipality, okay? Only on this specific municipality you can apply for this 10% flat tax, and this 10% flat tax also give you a discount on your IMU. So also the IMU will be discounted by 25%. So you're going to see your property tax reduced by 25%, and your rental income tax only at 10%. So this is the first optimization that you can do when you run your rental income, let's say business, but it's not a business, just an ordinary rental income in Italy. And keep in mind that this income is not going to be accumulated with the rest of your Italian incomes or your rest of the worldwide income that you are receiving when you move. For example, you move to Italy, you want to invest in properties, but you also have incomes from other countries coming and flowing together. This one will be taxed separately. And then what about if I want to put my property under touristic rental, okay, with less than 30 days? So we are going to move in a context of Airbnb situations, for example, or booking situation, or all the platforms that allow you to put to advertise your property and run it most like a business. In this way, you can use the forfait regime structure. You can apply the forfait regime under certain conditions for this specific scenario, but if you manage to apply for the forfait regime, you have up to 85,000 euros still in 2025 that you can receive as income and pay only the first 3 years at 9.5%, Then from the third year up to 5th years, so the next following 2 years, you're gonna pay 17%, and then from the 6th year onwards, so above 5 years, from the 6th year onward, you're gonna pay 22%. Okay, but these brackets here we are considering also the social security, because when you are running a business with the forfait regime, you're going to be a business, an entrepreneur running a business, so you're going to have a VAT number, and you're selling basically your space, your homes here, and we have to also pay the social security because it's a business activity, and those percentages that I wrote in this board are including also the social security. So it's taxes and social security combined. So taxes plus social security combined. Okay? This is also another configuration that needs to be discussed in a case-by-case scenario and analysis, but these are the other opportunity that allows you to have you pay only 9% taxes the first 3 years, and in the worst case you're going to pay 22%, which is actually almost like a rental income flat tax. And the forfait regime also is a flat taxation, so which means that you can keep receiving your other type of incomes in parallel without accumulating this 85,000 euro. You can see you can receive up to 7,000 euro as a rental income, as a touristic income per month, and pay only 9.5% taxes in the first 3 years. It's not bad. Keep in mind that you can have in Italy, this is an important point, up to 4 properties, number 4 properties under ordinary rent, okay, because up to here we discussed about ordinary rent, and after 4 properties you have to open a VAT number position. You're going to be considered an entrepreneur, so you have to open a forfait regime. Okay, so this is also something that we need to discuss, because at a certain point, if you only want to use ordinary rent and you have only 2 or 3 properties, most likely you can keep the ordinary 10% rental income rather than move to the forfait regime. Okay. And finally, what is the big questions here? A lot of clients, when they come to us in ESENtaxa, in our consultancy, this is the big questions always. It's better to invest my property as an individual or with a company. All these things that we have discussed so far in this board, so far it's with personal name. So add my personal name when I purchase a property, it will become my personal estate, okay? And I can apply this tax regime, these schemes, only when I am an individual. When I'm a company, it's completely different things, because you're going to be subject to a corporate tax in Italy. And the corporate tax in Italy, it's between 20% up to 24%. In 2025, indeed, they also create this sort of tax bracket, 20 and 24%. The 20% it's possible only under specific conditions, otherwise you pay 24%. But it's true that with the company you can deduct all your real expenses, and with the company also you don't have any limits with this 85,000 euro, okay? So you can basically, if you're looking for a big real estate investment in Italy, most likely a company would make more sense rather than try to squeeze and optimize the taxes with this type of incomes that we have discussed so far. Okay, as you can see here, in Italy there are several ways to optimize your taxes in the context of the real estate. And here in ESENtaxa, we are ready to help you to understand if this investment in this country makes sense for you or not. Thank you for having watched this video. As I said before, in the description below the video you have our email contact, info@esentaxa.com, and also our calendar link to have a consultation with us to check with you more in details your specific scenario. And if you like this kind of content, as always, I want to remind you to subscribe to the channel, notification bell and like button to be always updated whenever we release a new video.